Hey, it's your friendly YouTube guy, Chris Palmer again. Uh, I know I'd put before that I was going to try to get an interview with the Loudon Election Committee. Well, I got refused. The official refused me. Uh, why? I don't know. And, you know, you'd think they would want to be interviewed, especially with the election, being so transparent. Even though the Tennessee election went smoothly, the election official refused to do an interview with me. To me, that raises questions on the transparency of our election process. It makes the people wonder what's going on in our election process that they're afraid to talk about. With all the chaos going on in our election, you would think that election officials would be dying to do interviews with the press to show the people that they can trust our election process. Because with all the chaos going on, the people are not trusting anything to do with the election process right now. When election officials hide from the press, it makes the people not trust our election process. And I don't know how many more people we can afford not to trust the election process. We the people need to be reassured that we still have control of this country. When election officials refuse interviews from press, it destroys the integrity of our election process, because the election process is supposed to be transparent. But when the press is refused interviews to do stories to let the people see behind the scenes so that they know that everything is done fair to both parties, it makes people lose faith in our election process and our government. And it's a shame that that is what's going on. And it's not just Loudon County that refused an interview with me. Roane County also refused. And I'm calling several different counties now to see if they refuse to do an interview with me about the election process and stuff. And for some reason it's got me worried, because Tennessee's election went as smooth as silk. And I don't know if they're afraid that I'm for Democrat or Republican. I am a Republican, but I am here for the truth. I want both sides to be fairly done. In a fair election, if a Democrat wins, he wins. If a Republican in a fair election wins, he wins. And I have no problem with that. But I do have a problem when election officials will not do interviews to the press. That makes me think they're hiding something, or that all the chaos, they know why all the chaos is happening and stuff. It's like my wife, she called the Roane County election office to see if I could get an interview. And she told them, it wouldn't be a long interview, just a short interview, probably about 30 minutes or so. And a few questions that be asked and talked about. And they refused. And she said, go Trump, he's still our president. And he replied, that is an opinion. Well, when an election official says it's an opinion, when the election is not over and the illegal ballots have not been separated from the legal ballots to see who has won, because that's what they're going through in the Supreme Court and stuff like that, and taking it to the courts to be decided on what is a legal ballot and what is not a legal ballot. That is sad, because Trump is still our president until he goes and uses his right in the law to have the recounts, to have it took in front of the judges and stuff, and have the bad ballots taken out, the illegal ballots, not bad, but the illegal ballots taken out, and the legal ballots counted. And when you're winning in a landslide, say if I was the president and I was winning and I was up 800,000 votes, and all of a sudden my lead got cut down to 20,000 votes, I would have big questions there. I would have supreme questions. I mean, this I'm quoting from the New York Times. The New York Times stated, and this was when Donald Trump went in office, that mail-in ballots were the most easy to make fraudulent of any voting that they are. And, I mean, I'm not verbatim, word for word, saying what they said, but that's the gist of the thing. And when you have all these ballots and coming in through mail, and all these different judges changing election rules, which they're constitutionally they're not even allowed to do, but it's all and under the cover of COVID is why they're changing the election dates and when they can come in and so forth and so on. But as for me, if I was an election official right now, I would be more than glad to interview with the press. And by the way, now I am a certified independent journalist. I've got my credentials coming and everything. So I'm going to be trying to do interviews with a lot of different people now and talk to them, just like I did with the election commission and stuff. But if I was election official, I would be right there saying, look, we counted all these fair, everything worked good. Tennessee has no problems with the counting of the ballots and stuff. I was going to ask them about what kind of machine that we used. Did we? I know we didn't use the Dominion machine, but a friend of mine I seen at the store, he asked me what kind of machine they had used. I told him I didn't know yet, but that was one of the questions I was going to ask the election official that refused to do an interview with me. And it just seems strange to me, if you don't have nothing to hide, why go as far as not interviewing with the press? With all this fake news and stuff that we have nowadays, it looks like you would want a journalist that is straight about the truth. I hope Donald Trump wins, and I'm pretty sure he's going to win, but all I'm worried about is a fair election. And so far, from what I've seen from this election, there's been nothing fair about it. I went on about them bringing in ballots and stuff like that, and the reason they didn't count the mail-in ballots is because they needed to know how much Biden needed to get into the lead, or to bring it so close that they wouldn't notice a few 20,000 votes coming in and stuff like that. But that's all besides the point. It goes to each state's election commission. And it makes me wonder why in the world that they would not want to be interviewed. You would think they would want to take me and show me the whole election process from start to beginning, show me the machines and stuff like that, and show me how it works, and that the people should have faith in the election. I mean, when the people lose faith in the election, then we have problems. We have real problems. I mean, then you have people talking about tyrannical governments and stuff. And that's never a good thing. That's never a good thing. I mean, look back to 1776 in the tyrannical government. Look what happened then. I don't want that to happen today. I don't want my children being put through what those children back in that day were put in, the position they were put in. I want the election process to be completely fair. I want the American people, we the people, to trust our election officials. I want them to trust that they can, when somebody from the press calls and says, hey, I want to do a story and show how the election process is and how fair we done it here in Tennessee, and why couldn't they do it like that up there, I want them to see this. I want them to see a fair election. And I'm starting to wonder if Tennessee, on some of it, was a fair election because of the refusal of interviews. And, that's all my talking point today. And I'm going to work on some more interviews. I get my press pass, I think it's Friday. I'm excited about that. That way I have, my credentials that I can show, that I can be legit and everything. And I really want to turn this into the Common Person News Channel. One that you can go to and be like, yep, that's the truth. And if I could get interviews with people from the White House and stuff, I wouldn't cut them off like CNN did, or be rude like Fox did when he kept talking over the White House official, one of Trump's lawyers, when she was trying to explain that they were going to take him to court and have the illegal ballots separated from the legal ballots. And that was what she was trying to get out. But he kept going on and talking over, and even snickered and rolled his eyes at one point. That I don't know where. I didn't go to journalism school. I didn't go to college for journalism, so I don't know where in the hell in the book that is that you roll and snicker and roll your eyes and snicker and talk over your interviewee. But that was just straight out rude, and I think he should be took off the air. Because if you're going to do a job and that's going to be your profession, you should act professional about it. I didn't get mad when the lady election official told me she wasn't going to interview with me. I just told her that seemed shady and that I was going to do a piece about her not interviewing with me. So now I'm winning this, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have another interview set up, and we'll see you then.